Lady. Yeah, pussy. Pussy egg, pussy ping pong. Ping pong? Yes. Pussy open the bottle.
Meet Pattaya, a digital nomad from Denmark on an epic journey around the world. At the age of 50, he made a bold decision. He sold everything, his house, his car, his furniture, and set out with a quest to visit every single country in the world, documenting everything along the way. This is the Radio Vagabond podcast.
So I told my boss I'm going to take 6 months off. 15 and a half years later, I'm still here.
This episode of the Radio Vagabond podcast is sponsored by Hotels25.com. Hotels25.com searches all the top travel sites to find the best deals on more than 430,000 hotels around the world. Hotels25.com, it's best price guaranteed.
The British say Pattaya, we Danes say Pattaya, and the Thai people themselves say Pattaya. But it's really much more interesting what we think when we hear of the place. What kind of place do we imagine? Before we start, I'll give you a few seconds to think of a few words yourself. Okay, I'll wait. I don't know about you, but some of the words that I think of when I hear of this place is crazy parties, sex industry, ping-pong-shows, ladyboys, old guys with very young Thai girls or boys. I've heard so much about this place, so I needed to see it with my own eyes. Was it all true or just my own prejudice? And is there more to Pattaya than just that? Welcome to Thailand, and this is the Radio Vagabond podcast. After checking into my hotel, I strolled down to the walking street. This is a street that runs along the beach with seafood restaurants, live music venues, beer bars, discotheques, sports bars, go-go bars, nightclubs, Thai massage places, and a boxing ring in a bar visible from the street. They do staged Thai boxing fights and other shows. I saw a guy doing a snake show. Walking Street and the area around is closed to vehicles between 6 p.m. and 2 a.m. During the day it's almost deserted, but when the sun goes down, it goes nuts there.
I'm in the walking street here in Pattaya, and it is a crazy party street / red light district. At my right there's a place called Taboo. 5 girls with a sign that reads happy hour. They look extremely bored. Then there's a seafood restaurant, bar, and there's a live band inside. Another seafood restaurant. Across from that there's a club called The Bliss.
Lady.
No, not really.
Yeah, pussy. Pussy egg, pussy ping pong.
Ping pong?
Yes. Pussy open the bottle.
Open the bottle? How is that possible?
Yeah. Very good.
I get stopped all the time on the street with people that want to drag me in to see some kind of ping pong show. Yeah, you heard them. And a club called the Mandarin and a gogo. It's called the Windmill. Another one called the G-Spot.
The next day I jumped on a sightseeing bus to a giant Buddha, and I tried to strike up a conversation with the driver. I asked him if he was a Buddhist, and he said, "No, I'm the driver."
Do you speak English? Little. Are you a Buddhist?
No, driver.
What?
Driver company.
When the sun went down, I went back to Walking Street.
Lady. Pussy egg, pussy ping pong. Ping pong? Yes. Pussy open the bottle. Very good.
The next day, some more sightseeing.
In Thailand, we have ruby, sapphire, garnet from Thailand. Emerald come from Colombia.
And then back to the Walking Street when the sun went down.
Pussy egg, pussy ping pong. Yes. Pussy open the bottle.
And it was as if the music and the chaos just became louder and louder night after night.
Very good.
And then I've had enough. When I woke up the next morning with a ringing tone in my ears, I thought a lot about the children that I've seen in the street the night before. Kids preforming and begging for pennies late at night. And I started thinking that there might be casualties or victims. So I started Googling, and I found a place right here in Pattaya that helps street kids, poor children and handicapped. And I made an appointment to talk to an English guy called Derek.
That is right, and you must be Derek.
Yeah.
Hi, Derek.
Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you.
Have a seat.
Thank you.
Who was Father Ray? Well, he was also known as Father Brennan. Father Ray Brennan was an American priest of the Redemptorist Order. In 1974, Father Ray Brennan was handed an unwanted baby into his care.
He started his work because someone left a baby on his doorstep.
That one act of kindness would be the start of a life devoted to helping the underprivileged in the Thai society. He died in 2003, and since then the Father Ray Foundation has continued his work in his vision and continues to live up to its motto that we never turn a needy child away.
Today we have a school for blind children, a children's home, a children's village, a drop-in centre for street kids, a daycare centre, a centre for children with special needs, a vocational school for people with disabilities. We have a job placement agency for people with disabilities. People come from all over the country seeking help. And every day we take care of around 850 underprivileged children and students with disabilities.
And it's all funded by donations?
All by donations. All donations. 25 years ago, 95% of our money came from abroad, including a huge amount from Denmark. But we've seen that change. About 45% now comes from abroad, 45% is raised in Thailand, and 10% from the government. But we see there's a big Danish expat community here. There's big British, big Irish, and they all help us because they can come and see. Anyone can come and see here and see what we do and ask us many questions. You go to some charities and they might show you one room, two rooms, and don't ask too many questions. But we're very transparent here because we want people to support our children.
So when you came here 15 and a half years ago, it wasn't this big?
No. I used to spend my days in a baby room looking after little babies, and then in the afternoon go to the school for the blind. When Father Ray died 2003, people said to me, Derek, in 2-3 years at the most, you'll be back in London. All this place will be closed down. But since he died, we opened the special needs centre, the daycare centre, children's village. We opened a school in Nong Khai. We've doubled the size of the vocational school here. We've got more blind children. We've got a drop-in centre where kids on the streets can just turn up. So we've doubled in size, and we keep growing.
Derek Franklin is from the UK. He's been here almost 16 years, and prior to coming, he was a pediatric nurse in London. For him, it all started with a holiday to Thailand.
I came to Thailand for a holiday, and when I got back, I was watching a television programme about why people come on holiday to Thailand. And there was a piece on it about this American priest who opened an orphanage. So I wrote him a letter, Father Ray Thailand, and it got to him. So he invited me to come and see him, and I did. And he said, next year, come back. So I told my boss I'm going to take 6 months off. 15 and a half years later, I'm still here.
You still have your job?
I don't think so. No, not anymore. And so I've stayed here, and I've watched the Father Ray Foundation grow. I've seen thousands of children come here. I've seen thousands of students, and I love what we do. I seriously do. I see lives changing. I see terrified kids come to the school, and then you see them smile, and they see them getting on with their life. I see kids, some of the saddest kids I've ever met. When I used to run the clinic at the children's home, which used to be called the Home for Street Kids, and all the new kids would come and see me, and some of them were scared because the only relationship they've ever had with a foreigner was abusive, physical, sexual, and you saw the fear in these kids. They were scared. Mm-hmm. They'd had hard lives. They'd been rejected by everybody. When first went to work at the children's home, like I said, it was the home for street kids, people told me don't go there. The kids are filthy, the kids will steal, the kids will swear, they use foul language, they're dirty. And when I got there, they tried to steal my motorbike and all my vitamin C tablets. And then when I told them no, they used the most foul language. But they were the most wonderful kids I have ever met. They stole because they didn't know any different. No one had taught them how to wash. If they were hungry, they fought for food, you know. And now I see some of them who I've known for 15 years getting ready to go to university, you know. And if you'd said to me 15 years ago, what's going to happen to that kid? I would have said he'd be dead by the time he's 20, you know, or in gangs or whatever. And he's going to university. And that just makes, you know, it all worthwhile. So just coming past now on their morning exercises are the toddlers from the Father A Daycare Centre. And some of these are the poorest kids in Pattaya. When they come here in the mornings, we give them breakfast because they won't have breakfast at home. We give them lunch.
So
dinner.
they don't live here.
They don't live here. These kids have parents or they live with grandparents or relatives. But most of them live in slum areas of Pattaya. Yeah. And we invite them to come in here every day and we look after them. Give them food, we give them... we even have a lady who squeezes orange juice every day for them. Squeezes several kilos of orange juice.
How old are they?
How old? 2 and 3 years, 2, 3, 4 years of age. There's a younger group who don't come out. They go running somewhere else. But they've said their morning prayers. They've said they've had breakfast. They've had they've done their yoga and their exercise, and now they go for a run around the place. And they are just the most wonderful children.
Yeah, they are.
You could meet, seriously. And you see their parents, some of them, you know, and their parents are poor. The parents need a good meal.
They're all wearing the same clothes.
They're all wearing the same clothes. Uniforms are very important in Thailand. Everybody has a uniform. You know, at the moment we're all wearing black because the king passed away, unfortunately. But everyone, we have uniforms on special days. Teachers have uniforms. School kids have to have a uniform.
Just after I arrived, a group of toddlers were passing by. A small, beautiful, brown-eyed girl presented a flower to me and looked me straight in the eyes. As she smiles and keeps walking past us, she turns around and waves her index finger as to say, "No, no, mister, don't take my flower." And my heart melts.
They are so adorable.
They're just beautiful, aren't they?
You can see her and all the other kids on theradiovagabond.com.
So they come in the morning, every morning. We give them breakfast. They learn. We give them lunch. Some take food home with them. We give them uniforms. We give them 3 uniforms. And this is the only project we have here, of all the projects we do, where we charge people. And we charge them 20 baht a day. In krona, I don't know how much that is.
It's around 4 krona or 50 cents a day.
That is not much.
It's not much. But with the 20 baht, it doesn't cover anything. What we do is we put that 20 baht in a bank account. So when they leave us to go to kindergarten, the family have enough money to buy the uniforms.
So the parents that pay the 2 baht a day
20 baht. 20
baht.
20 baht.
Do they know that they're getting the money back later?
Yes, they do, but they still have to pay it.
Yeah.
They still have to pay it.
Yeah.
And we say, and we charge it because we want the family to take responsibility. You go out and work, we'll look after your kid, we'll look after the child. You go out and work, and if parents have a place for the children, if there's a school, a daycare centre, they're more likely to stay in the same area. Otherwise, they move places. See, so they're more likely to stay here.
As the small toddlers run along, a group of handicapped teenagers are coming the other way.
Coming the other way.
Or as Derek calls them, kids with special needs.
Or our children from the Father A Centre for Children with Special Needs.
Yeah.
Which we only opened this year.
This year? Okay.
There you go. Bye, 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 bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Oh. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Wait. Just beautiful kids. Many years ago, somebody brought a little boy in and said, "I need some help." It was a mother. She didn't know what was wrong with her kid. All the doctor had told her was, "Your kid won't do anything." She didn't really know what happened. So we looked after this kid. We took more in got about 150 now. And earlier this year, we opened a brand new centre for children with special needs, the Father Ray Centre for Children with Special Needs.
150?
150. But we have kids from the age of 1 up to 20. Some of our teenagers, they do vocational training, so they go and work in places. Because at the end of the day, I get up in the morning and I go to work. You get up and you have a purpose.
Yeah.
These kids need to do something. Yeah. And if they don't, what's the point?
Yeah, exactly.
They have to get up in the morning, they have to do something. And I once heard, I was watching an episode of Celebrity Apprentice, and one of his contestants wants some money for a centre for children with special needs, and he said, if we don't do anything for these kids, we're just throwing them away. And it's so true, because they are the most amazing kids. Most amazing kids, they just need some help.
As they're right in front of us, they make funny faces and throw some cool hand signs at us. Some of them on crutches and not walking very easily, but that doesn't stop them from trying to start running.
So they're on their way on morning walk now, which they do. And then they'll go into class and learn.
Yeah.
And everyone has different ability. And we teach according to their ability. You know, in a regular school, everyone is on similar abilities.
Yeah.
But when you've got kids with autism, the range is so wide.
Yeah.
You know?
What is their disability?
We have children like this young boy here who has mobility problems. He has cerebral palsy. We have many.
But
kids.
most of them ran.
Most of them ran. Some of them kids, if you watch them, they have cerebral palsy, so they're not quite stable on their feet.
Okay.
Some of them also have autism, Down syndromes, and a lot just have learning disabilities. A lot of the teenagers have been to regular school, but they can't cope.
No.
So they get kicked out. So they sit at home doing nothing.
So without this place, where would they be?
Sitting at home doing nothing. There was an Englishman came to see me not long ago and told me that his girlfriend had 3 children. 2 girls, they went to school, and a 20-year-old son. And 10 years ago, the son was in a traffic accident, and the doctor said, your son's mental, he will never do anything. And it's not Thai culture to ask the doctor, what do you mean? So this boy, for 10 years...
He's the authority.
Yeah, he's the authority. You don't question the doctor. The doctor said he won't do anything, so he didn't. So for 10 years, this boy got out of bed in the morning, had a shower, had breakfast, and sat on the sofa, flicking TV channels for 10 years. 10 years, did nothing. When he came in here, he wouldn't speak Thai. He'd only speak Khmer, like Cambodian, with his mum. And it took a few weeks. He just sat there, didn't want to do anything. And it was the other boys who come here, who, wherever they went, they took him. And we realised after a short while that he likes doing art. So we said, well, there's the paints, there's the crayons, shows what you can do. And he's a very good artist. And he loves coming in now to do art. You know, because that's what he wants. He couldn't cope in a regular school. So we have to find what's best for them, what's best for each child, and do what we can for them. We have to do something. Because in Denmark, if a child has a disability from an early age, they'd be recognised and the help would start, sometimes even before they're born. The same as in the UK where I'm from. We don't have the facilities here in Thailand. So we do what we can.
Exactly.
We do what we can.
Derek tells me that parents of a disabled child here in Thailand don't always send them to school because they want to protect them.
If you have a disabled child, you're not going to say, well, I'm going to send it to school and it's going to be away from me 9 hours a day. And what if people make fun of the child? That's my baby, you know? You want to protect the child. So, and if you think you think your child doesn't have the ability to go to school, you're not going to send them to school. In early November, we had a new term. We had 60 new students. And when I come down to the school on the first day, you can tell the new students, first of all, they cannot look me in the eye. First time away from home, they've lost that security. And they've been told all their life, you can't do anything. You can't go to school, you're in a wheelchair. You can't play sport, you're in a wheelchair. You can't fix anything because you've only got one arm. You can't play with your friends, you've only got one leg. And they come here and they see kids playing wheelchair basketball, wheelchair tennis. The principal of the school's in a wheelchair. The deputy principal only has use of one arm. Only 3 teachers are not disabled. So you think what that does to your mind.
Wow, someone like me.
When they graduate, a lot of them don't go home. Because when they go home, they're treated like the poor little girl in the wheelchair. And they're not. We encourage them to do sport because it builds confidence, you know. We've just had 7 of our former students go to the Paralympics.
Wow.
7, yeah. One of them won 2 gold medals.
No.
To go with the gold medals he won in London in 2012.
Wow.
Yeah.
I try to limit these podcasts to a maximum of 30 minutes, but in this case I have so much more to share from this place. So there's going to be another episode here from Pattaya, and in a few seconds I'll share a few clips from that one. But first, let me say thanks again to the sponsor of this episode, hotels25.com. It's a website that searches all the major hotel searching sites and finds the best deals around the world. That saves you both time and money. Hotels25.com, best price guaranteed.
In next week's episode on the Radio Vagabond podcast.
And I named these 2 boys the naughtiest boys in the world. All they knew how to do was fight and steal.
Eric tells me some fantastic stories about kids that totally got their lives changed here.
The saddest thing for me, though, and I still get shivers thinking about it, was we had to ask the fathers to leave because the longer he stayed, the more upset the kids got. I can't imagine how he felt walking away, listening to his 3 sons, crying, screaming.
We're also talking about religion.
I think there are too many places where... You want a bowl of rice? Say Jesus loves you.
And I get to meet one of the volunteers, the 23-year-old Daniel.
And then I decided, instead of being home, partying with my friends and do the normal things, I will do a difference again. That's why I came back.
All this and much more in the next episode of the Radio Vagabond podcast.
If you like this podcast, please subscribe in iTunes or the podcast app on your smartphone. You can see pictures, watch videos, and read much more on the radiovagabond.com. Pale can be reached for interviews and public speaking gigs on mail at theradiovagabond.com.
And by the way, please write a review in iTunes. That would mean the world to me. My name is Pale Bo. Thanks for listening.